Hello Romina.
Hello Cosmin.
Here we are. It's been the Ian's 25th anniversary.
Yes, happy birthday Ian.
Happy birthday, happy anniversary Ian. Yes, good work. You've been involved constantly in Ian's activity since?
2005 was my first contact with Youth Express Network.
Okay.
Ages ago, I may say. I became one of the dinosaurs.
This is how people become dinosaurs. So,
exactly.
So, how was that first time you met Ian? What was the context?
So I met Ian in 2005, but I was a participant back then. I discovered then the love of being also a team member. And in 2006 I had the chance to be invited as a team member in a wonderful project in Italy called the Youth for All.
Okay.
So that was the moment when everything started.
Mm-hmm.
It was a project very intense, very unique, because it was gathering, the project gathered all the partners that spoke Latin languages as a region. And we had no permission to speak English, so imagine that this interview would be Romanian and everyone would understand. So it was a very, very big challenge to take.
Okay. So this sounds interesting. There were people who were speaking what languages? What were the countries they came from?
Let me see if I remember. 12 years ago. So Romanian, Italy, French, Italian, French, and I think Portuguese. We were 4 countries involved. You know, after a while, the memory. Yeah. It was intense because the people over there, because this is one of the characteristics of Youth Express Network, right? Is that people don't speak English, and we wanted to prove that it's not necessary to speak English and that the language is not a barrier in social inclusion. And we managed to prove that this was the case. Language was not a barrier. We had a wonderful experience. I'm still in contact with some of the people that were participants there, and they remember the event. And for some, it really impacted their life.
How was that experience for you as a team member?
Very intense. I worked together with dinosaurs of the network. I remember that Mario D'Agostino was the coordinator and the course director. We also had Veronique with us. And it was a very intense training course. I didn't understand anything that happened there. I remember that everything that I did was to carry flip chart papers and stickers for the wall and all these material logistical things. Still was very intense for me. But over there I learned something very important, that in order to be a good trainer and a good team, you need to feel the rhythm. And I still remember Mario saying that in order to be a good trainer, you don't need so much preparation before. I'm not sure if it is true or not. But you need to go with the rhythm. And training is like a jazz session. You need to improvise and you need to follow the rhythm.
Go with the flow.
Yes, exactly. And know exactly what instrument to use where and when. Okay.
If you were to repeat that experience as a team member, would you do anything different, or how would you, let's say, adjust your experience as a team member to your current knowledge of today, let's say?
Of course that I would like to be more involved in the content part of the training, not the logistical part, that's for sure. But I think I will maintain my observation mood. Because working with people that know exactly what they do, you can also learn a lot from them. And I learned a lot from Mario and from Fabrice and from Veronique and from, I think it was Gabrielle also. So what I've changed, I would change is definitely my self-trust. Because I was so scared. I was crying every night. I want to go back home and that this is not for me. And this is definitely not what I will do as a career in my life, which is wrong because it's exactly what I did.
For a change? Would you like to go back?
I'm not sure if I want to go back in that memory. But I think I would be more self-trust and confident in what I can do, and I will not cry every night, but I will have fun and enjoy the group.
Because this is what Youth Express Network is also about.
Exactly, it's not a scary network. I hope that the ones that will listen to this video will not be scared, because it's also about fun. But in order to have fun, if you are a team member, you also need to be a little bit prepared. And preparation comes also with experience. So, like I said in the beginning, this year Youth Express Network turns 25. What are your wishes for the network? 25 years more to go, because I know it's not easy to be in a network. It's not necessarily an easy job, neither as an officer in the administrative part or a board member. But
you're also a board member.
I was also a board member. Imagine that after that experience, when I was completely traumatized by the experience, I still decided to be in the network, and I entered in the board, I think 1 year after, and I was involved in the board around 6 years, I think, being a president for 3 years. So I know it's not easy, but it's a wonderful journey, and it needs to continue. Because as my life changed, I'm sure that the life of other young people changed due to the Youth Express Network activities and projects. And even if it is not easy for the people that manage it, it's necessary.
So, long live Youth Express Network.
Yeah, happy birthday!